everybody, here we are. It's a Tuesday, it's a new video. So today I decided to bring you all the second most important lesson when you are starting out with chess is how the pieces move. So let's get right into it. So you see our chessboard set up, and you remember, hopefully, this is the rook, this is the knight, this is the bishop, king, queen, and the same bishop, knight, and rook, and the pawns in front. So that's just a quick recap from our first lesson. Now I'm gonna clear the board so you are not gonna see any pieces. We'll go through how the pieces move. So we have our rook, which is on, we discussed that it's on the edge right here of the chessboard, and the same will be for the black pieces here, right? So the rook can move in two ways, straight ahead or sideways. If you have all these are facing each other, so all these, there is a possibility to capture each other, so they also capture this way. So if we take that rook, then this rook has a chance to take either this or this rook. If we have, let's say, a rook right in the middle of the board, then it can move, I'm gonna show with the arrows, sideways, both sides, as many squares as you possibly can, and forward as well, as many squares as you possibly can. Now, if you have a piece in your way, let's say, and you don't want to capture that piece, then you can only move until here, okay? So the rooks can't jump over pieces, and they can only move the squares as many as are available. And the rook are worth 5 points. Remember that. Let's clear the board. Let's come back with our bishops. Color has two bishops each. One is running on our black squares, this one is running on our black squares, and this one as well, and this way as well, right? So the black ones that are on the dark square, they are running on the dark squares. The other one runs on the white or light squares, because I don't want to say white because nowadays chessboards come in all different sizes and colors, but you do get the gist. So these are running diagonally. If you have a bishop right in the middle of the board, this bishop can run either way, backwards, forwards, just diagonally, and the same way they capture another piece. So for example, if this bishop was to move over here, then our bishop can capture it. If our bishop moves over here, then the black bishop can capture it. Excellent, so that was the bishop. The knight starts off here on the B and the G lines on the basic first setup, and the knights are the only pieces that can actually jump over figures. Basic setup, they are surrounded by the pawns, right? So the knight is actually able to jump over it, and it's gonna move in an L shape like this. So let me put it back and show you with the arrows. So it's 2 to the front and 1 to the side, or if we jump here, also it's possible for the knight to move 1 to the front and then 2 to the side. So that's an L shape as well. It can also move backwards, like it's free to jump around basically, and it can jump over the whole line of pawns. Now, for example, it can't come here because we already have a pawn there, but if you move this pawn, then the knight can jump here, okay? Knights are worth 3 points, as we discussed last time. and they exactly capture the same way. So if in the L shape you have another knight, you can capture. Okay. Now we discussed bishop, pawn, knight. Let's go for the queen. The queens in the starting positions are on the D line. And the way they move is, I'm gonna show you, I'm just gonna place my queen here. So in a star shape, so it can go backwards and forwards as many squares. So for example, here we could capture that queen there, sideways, both ways, as many squares as possible, right? And also diagonally, they can move. So they are pretty powerful, as you can tell. So it's a star shape and you want to take care of your queens. Let me just tell you that to start off with. Now the king is our precious king that we want to really take a good care of. Not there, here. And we have to remember that the king needs to be protected, because when something is attacking our king, that means we are in check, so we have to escape from check. But when we are attacked with a check and we can't move anywhere legal, that's a checkmate. So if I put my king here, I can demonstrate better how the king moves. So we have, it moves the same way as the queen, but only one square at the time. Okay, so like a star shape, only one square at a time. And the king can capture as well the same way, but one thing is important to remember, that the two kings have to have one square in between them, because if this king moved here, it would be in a constant check, so it's against the rules to move the kings right next to each other. And then we have the deer pawns. The deer pawns are sometimes underestimated, but you shouldn't underestimate them because they have magical powers in chess. So the pawns are worth only 1 point, and the way they move is only forward. When they are at the starting line, so on the row 2 and 7, they can move 2 squares ahead, okay? Or they can move 1 square ahead as well. It's up to you, you will decide. But also what you need to know is the pawns, the way they capture is always diagonally forward. So in this case, this white pawn can absolutely capture this black pawn diagonally and forward. And now this black pawn can also absolutely capture this white pawn diagonally forward, okay? That's how the pawns capture. Now, if, let's say magically, this pawn gets here, what is your aim with your pawns? If you are with the white pieces right now, you want this pawn to arrive onto the other side of the board where your opponent's pieces used to be at the basic setup. Because once you do that, it can magically turn into something. I'll show you. It can turn into anything you want except a king or another pawn. So we discussed already that the queen is our most precious piece next to the king, so we will turn it into a queen. Is it possible to have multiple queens on the chessboard, like white could have 3 queens? Yes, absolutely, because you start off with 1 queen, but if you make your pawn reach the other side, you can turn it into another queen. So you can have multiple queens, and this is something you really want to aim for with your pawns. So for today, this is all that we went through. And now, basically, you can already start playing. So always white starts. So white would open up and then black would open up as well. And you just start developing your pieces. Start practicing, start playing around. It's always 1 move for the white, 1 move for the black, okay? And enjoy the game, and I will see you in the next video. I hope it was useful and beneficial, and we will learn some more very soon. Remember, a video every Tuesday I will bring you. Bye! Okay, 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 okay. It's getting dark. Dark, dark.